Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And I'm getting ready to head to the pool with my husband here in just a few minutes, but I wanted to pop on and make a Peterisms video, the first one for June. So I have the Melody Beatty books. I have not even opened them. I have no idea what the meditations will say to us, so let's just sift through these books, and see what the universe is telling us today. And the universe is telling us to read from the language of letting go. And it is June 2nd. So let's go to June 2nd. Let me put my reading glasses on. And let's see what it says. Owning our power. Here we go. Owning our power, June 2nd. We don't have to give others so much power and ourselves so little. We don't have to give others so much credit and ourselves so little. In recovery from codependency, we learn there's a big difference between humility and discounting ourselves. When others act irresponsibly and attempt to blame their problems on us, we no longer feel guilty. We let them face their own consequences. When others talk nonsense, we don't question our own thinking. When others try to manipulate or exploit us, we know it's okay to feel anger and distrust and to say no to the plan. When others tell us that we want something that we really don't want, okay, I just want to say this before I get any further in this, because I'm going to go back and read a few things really quickly and then go forward. This is an exercise in setting limits and boundaries, okay? That's what they're talking about in this, and this is, or she's talking about, and this is a really important meditation. I'm actually going to start it over. This is a really important meditation to listen to, because she's explaining in detail how to set limits and boundaries for people in your life if you suffer from codependency at all, right? Which I think most of us have some small form of codependency, if not even bigger than that. Like me, I have a lot of codependency, you know, that I'm working on. So this is really lessons in how to set boundaries and limits and how to say no and how to say, I'm not going to participate in this and I'm not going to be part of your emotional manipulation and I know I'm not going along with this and setting those limits and boundaries. So let me start this over again. We don't have to give others so much power and ourselves so little. We don't have to give others so much credit and ourselves so little. In recovery from codependency, we learn there's a big difference between humility and discounting ourselves. When others act irresponsibly and attempt to blame their problems on us, we no longer feel guilty. We let them face their own consequences. When others talk nonsense, we don't question our own thinking. When others try to manipulate or exploit us, we know it's okay to feel anger and distrust and to say no to the plan. When others tell us we want something that we really don't want, or someone tells us that we don't want something that we really do want, we trust ourselves. When others tell us things we don't believe, we know it's okay to trust our instincts. We can even change our mind later. We can change our mind anytime we want, like my friend Tanya always says. We don't have to give up our personal power to anyone. Strangers, friends, spouses, children, authority figures, or those over whom we're in authority. People may have things to teach us. They may have more information than we have, and may appear more confident or forceful than we feel, but we are equals. Our magic is not in them. Our magic, our light, is in us. And it is as bright a light as theirs. We are not second-class citizens. By owning our power, we don't have to become aggressive or controlling. We don't have to discount others, but we don't discount ourselves either. Today I will own my power with people. I will let myself know what I know, feel what I feel, believe what I believe, and see what I see. I will be open to changing and learning from others and experience, but I will trust and validate myself too. I will stand in my own truth. And I think this is such an important meditation, probably one of the most important meditations I've read in a really long time. You know, I think, have you had people that have made you feel like you're crazy or question whether or not you're crazy? You know, and I mean, I remember going through a situation in my life years ago, and I would, you know, talk to my friend Tanya about it like every day, and I'd say like, I'm either crazy or they're crazy, and she'd say, you're not crazy. You know, and it took like years for me to realize I'm not crazy. Like, I really questioned it, right? Because they were running games on me. They were manipulating me. They were emotionally manipulating me to think that there was something wrong with me, that my thinking was wrong. What I wanted, you know, was fairy tale or non-existent or unattainable, when that just is not the case, right? I can remember for years and years and years, even with like my friend group in high school, which like they were all very protective of me and I'm grateful for that, but I can remember always feeling like I was on the outside looking in. For so many years of my life, for I would say the majority of my life, just until probably the last 10 years. And in all reality, I think my husband has really been a huge part in helping me get out of this. But like, I really felt like I was on the outside looking in, you know? I always felt like no matter who I was with, they were more important, their thoughts were more important, their ideas were more important, their needs were more important than mine. I always put people, you know, on the front burner, myself on the back burner. I never thought about my needs. I never thought about, you know, like saying no. And, you know, for years and years and years, and I'm not talking about like with social anxiety and not going to things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about setting limits and boundaries and saying, no, this is enough. Like, I'm not going to continue to take this. Like, I didn't do that for a long time, you know? And then what happened was, I would say about 5 or 6 years ago, I don't even know. I had 4 or 5 people in my life at the time. I don't know how specific I want to get about this, but I had about 4 or 5 people at that time in my life that were pretty toxic. And I was like, I just would like wake up every day and like get a text or a phone call, and I just would immediately feel drained. You know what's so interesting about me telling this story is that there's somebody that like was one of those people in my life that was like extremely toxic to me and just drained me of energy, drained me constantly, right? And the other night I had a nightmare, and this person is not in my life, has not been part of my life for a very, very long time. And the other night I had a nightmare, and they were calling me, and like the phone call was so similar to phone calls in the past, where they were kind of like manipulating me, and I knew it at the time, but like I couldn't say no, and I was just kind of like such a people pleaser at the time that I was like, yes, and you know, okay, well, what do you need, and blah, 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 whatever. And I can remember like I woke up the other night and I just was like, oh my God, like it felt so real to me. I think we really, in our society, we really minimize people playing games with our minds, you know, and people emotionally manipulating us and telling us, well, you don't really believe that, or you don't really want that, or whatever. You know, that's not somebody that you want in your life. Somebody that you want in your life listens to you. They listen to what you want, what you desire. They listen and they support you on that, you know, unless it's unhealthy for you, and then they challenge you on that. Like, and I think those are real friends too, that challenge you on things that are really, you know, unhealthy. But like I look back on some of those people that were really toxic in my life, and what just started happening was most of them I had conversations with, and I said, you know, like this is getting to a point for me where it's kind of unhealthy, you know, like either something's got to change, or, and maybe for both of us, I don't know, like, or I can't continue this way. And it was interesting because like most people would be like, oh yeah, like, you know, I want to change, I want to do this, and I want us to have a better relationship, and what do you need from me, and this is what I need from you. And then I would do those things that they ask, and there would be no follow through on their end. And then it would be like a month later, they'd call me up, and it was like the same old thing. And it took me like, I mean, honestly, like 6 months or a year before I realized, yeah, they're not changing. Like, there's nothing going on over there. Like, and I don't need this in my life. I'd rather have 2 friends than 10 friends, and the 6 out of the 10 are bringing me so much toxicity and negativity in my life. And so I started setting limits and boundaries. And really what I just stopped doing was calling those people. I just stopped calling them back. I stopped texting them. I just was like, I just can't have this in my life anymore. I refuse to have it in my life. And at first I felt really, really bad about it. At first I felt like guilty and selfish, and that's part of the emotional manipulation. That's part of what those people do, right? Is that they make you feel guilty and make you feel bad for not calling them, for not checking in on them. If you were a better friend, you would check in on me. If you were a better friend, you would tell me what I did. Well, I have. Well, I have let you know. I've let you know in nonverbal ways and in verbal ways, and I backed away, and you've never once said to me, like, is it something that I did? You know, like, you've never taken any ownership or responsibility. I've tried to fix my end of it. Like, there's, you know, and whatever. And so, at some point, I had to realize, I have but one time on this earth, you know, and I am not going to feel guilty about who or how I spend it. I'm just not. And it was like a real turning point for me. I was like, I cannot have this negativity in my life anymore. And I actually had 2 friends in my life that were super, super negative, and they were always constantly, they had a lot of chaos around them, and I always kind of seemed to put myself in the middle of it somehow. And actually I was talking to another friend of mine recently about it because they were friends with them too, and I said, you know, it's so crazy, like, not having them in our lives anymore. Like, I miss them on some level, but like on the other level, it's like, it's kind of crazy to me, like I don't have that chaos. And my friend said to me, it's really nice, isn't it? It's like we have peace and serenity, and maybe our lives are a little bit more boring today, but like we don't have that chaos and toxicity that I mean, and it's so true, you know? Sure, my life is not drama-filled and it's a little boring today, you know, and all that kind of stuff, but I don't mind it. Like, I don't miss that. you know, at all. And I definitely don't miss feeling guilty for feeling like I'm not a friend that measures up to what I should be when I'm a damn good friend. I have always been a damn good friend, you know, and I know that about myself. And so today, I surround myself with people that are damn good friends. And I feel very blessed that I have some amazing, wonderful people in my life today that are loyal and have my back. And I'm very blessed about that, you know? And so in return, I try to be the same to them as well. So anyway, it was a great meditation. You have the right to set boundaries and limits in your life. You have the right to say no to somebody. You have the right to say, I am done. I'm not taking any more of this. So anyway, let me know what you think about all of that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.